Well, if you are a Genealogy Gems premium member, then you have probably already listened to the most recent premium episode, which featured professional genealogist and private investigator Alvie Davidson. He's also a member of APG, the Association of Professional Genealogists, and very active with that organization. And I am very happy to say that after we wrapped up our conversation about how genealogy and private investigation can collide and really help each other in their efforts. It was a fascinating interview. I hope that you guys will check it out in the premium episodes because he really had some great ideas and he had some wonderful insight into some of those people finder websites that you find online. But when we wrapped that up, I thought I couldn't let him go without talking about the kinds of questions that Suzanne Strickland wrote in about, which is all of his work with the Association of Professional Genealogists, the fact that he has been one himself and has many tips and ideas on how, if you're interested, you might get started. So without any further ado, here is my conversation with Alvie Davidson. When you and I first met out in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, we were at the FGS conference, and you had told me about your work with the APG. Tell us a little bit about that. I get emails quite often from listeners who wonder, should I become accredited? What's the process? How do I decide? How do you advise the genealogist who really wants to take it to the next step and go professional?
First of all, APG is a member-only organization. It is not any sort of an accreditation or certification organization at all. We are a membership organization of about 2,200 members worldwide, and by being a member of APG, you get to associate with people who are also professional genealogists. Some aren't, but most of them are, and you can touch base with them. You can pick their brain. They can pick your brain. You can begin to learn how other people do certain things. I watched an email today explaining to me the new techniques for finding New York census. Wow. I might not have ever known that if I had not been a member of APG because it came through on the APG mailing list. This is all a part of some of the blessings that you get by being a member of APG. I've been a member for probably 15 years now. I've been on the board of directors of APG I'm in my fourth 2-year term after skipping one term, and I love it. I've been so blessed with my association with them and how that I share with them, they share with me.
Now that brings to mind, there are people who are professional in the sense that they are paid to do genealogy research for people, or those of us who are professional in a sense of somehow genealogy plays into our career. Does a person need to be accredited in order to be a member of APG? Could anybody listening to the show join the organization?
Anyone who is involved in the field of genealogy, you don't really have to be, but anybody can become a member of APG. All you have to do is to sign an agreement that you will abide by their code of ethics and you will not take money for work not performed. We do have an ethics board of our APG that oversees such things as this. Anybody can join APG that would like to join APG, and we encourage them if they are interested in genealogy, if they are wanting to further their field of genealogy, launch out into the field as a full-time professional, whether you're a speaker, a writer, a librarian, or just an ordinary everyday genealogist. Join them as an APG and learn from others of like interest.
That sounds like a great tip right into itself, is that hopefully now that's clarified, because I think many people do have the misconception that they somehow have to be accredited or have to be doing it full time or whatever. But it sounds like, joining an organization like this can really be one of the first steps that you take as you're making your decisions about how you might like to pursue it professionally in whatever way. As you said, what's exciting is there are so many different ways for a person to professionally be involved in genealogy. I know that you don't accredit, people who, you don't have a program. Where do you direct people who would like to become certified as a genealogist. What are some of their options?
Well, there are two organizations that have a judging board, or so to speak. One is the the Board for Certification of Genealogists, which is located in Washington, D.C., and their website is very easy to find, bcgcertification.org. And then there is the organization that is in Utah, the ICAPGen, and don't ask me to explain what those initials mean. They were started by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I have a number of friends who are accredited, or AGs as they call them, accredited genealogists. And in some respects, they're pushing for their accreditation, maybe even more strict or stringent than the Board for Certification is. But I've never taken there, so I can't really say for a fact. But I do know that becoming a certified genealogist takes a lot of work and a lot of tenacious looking for the right information and passing the certification requirements and laying down the necessary groundwork to eventually be judged worthy of the initials CG after your name.
Exactly. Now, I'd love to have you also give people an idea, because, again, there's confusion about whether when we see a course for certification, when a person takes a course like that, at the end, do they get handed their certificate and they're now a CG, or is that just a preparatory course for then taking a test?
There are a number of prep courses, but none of them is any kind of guarantee that you're going to become certified from taking that course. There are two or three, now I think there's three schools of teaching. One of them is in Birmingham, Alabama at the Samford University's Institute on Genealogical and Historical Research, known as IGHR. And then the one is in Washington, D.C., is the NIGR, National Institute on Genealogical Research. They recently started one in Boston, Massachusetts, and the mover and shaker up there is Dr. Tom Jones. And that, again, neither one of these gives you any kind of leg up on being assured you're going to get certification after you do that. You still have to meet the criteria established by the Board for Certification by being able to do a process that they lay out to you. So you will be able to show them you know exactly what you're doing. They give you certain things to transcribe, to give back to them in the same manner which they expect, and they look over your work, and if it meets the criteria, if you've done what they've asked you to do, then they will tell you that you have been certified. You will be certified for a period of 5 years. And each 5 years, you have to do similar work all over again and show the board that you are pursuing your certification process through those 5 years.
Right. Now, sometimes when we meet genealogists at conferences, they hand us their business card and we see more than just CG after their name. Can you give us the rundown? What are some of the options, what this alphabet soup means after the names, and are they all certified or professional genealogists?
Well, the CG and CGL, a certified genealogical lecturer, and I believe there's one more, but I don't have it right on the top of my head. A certified genealogical lecturer would be someone like Elizabeth Shone Mills, where she has proven that she's a qualified lecturer, or Elissa Powell in Pennsylvania. These people have qualified as a lecturer. They may have CG and CGL following their name. Of course, we have other people such as Dr. Tom Jones, who may have 4 or 5 postnomials after their name that has no direct relationship to their certification, but they are fellows in certain organizations, the Society of Genealogists, or UGA, the fellow of the Utah Genealogical Association. These people have earned the right to have those postnomials after their name because they have excelled in certain fields.
Right. So we don't have to worry about the wide range. We can kind of focus in. Would you say that CG is really the place where somebody who's new to this whole process, that's kind of where the starting point is that you might look to getting your certification in genealogy?
That's the jumping off point.
Yeah.
You get qualified, you write articles, you do research, you do things that will qualify you as a CG. Then you take the material given to you by the board for certification and follow the directions that they give you, pass it back to them, and they have a way to judge whether you have or have not met the criteria.
Right. I love the fact that more and more people are asking these kinds of questions. There seems to be, at least my perception is, a real growing interest that they're craving to learn more and to be more accurate about the type of process that they're using, and they're sourcing they're recording their sources. How are you finding the membership at APG going and in your local society?
Well, I am also with the APG Florida chapter, and we have about 26 members here in Florida out of about 70 total members of APG in Florida. We have a Florida chapter, and we meet quarterly, and this quarter we met by electronic means. Visual meeting, and it worked great. And then we will have another meeting in November, latter part of November, where we will meet at our Florida State Genealogical Society. And we have our meeting there. We were going to do an Ancestry Roadshow as a courtesy to the Florida State Genealogical Society. This we've been doing for 3 years now, and it's worked great. It gives more people a reason to want to belong to APG. And I've seen APG grow from about 1,500 members to over 2,200 members in the years I've been associated with it. And I'm the booth manager at the various national conferences, the next one being, I go to so many of them, I can't. Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, you're talking about NGS or FGS?
Right. They have one FGS, one NGS. Then we move to Springfield, Illinois. And then sometime in the future, we're coming to Birmingham, Alabama. These are places where we hold national conferences, and APG has a booth set up so you can come personally inquire from some of our members, how would it benefit me to be a member of APG? Pick up some literature, read it, and come back later and sign on the dotted line and pay your membership dues.
And where can they find APG online?
It's apgen.org. That stands for Association of Professional Genealogists.org, or we say appgen.org.
Great. So you can head to appgen.org and get information, learn more about what they offer as far as the benefits of being a member. And I assume that they could register even online?
They could. They certainly could. They also, you'll see a listing of all the other members by state or by specialty or by name. If you happen to look for me, you can look for my last name. And I think I'm the only one who has a last name of Davidson. Well,
it's a great way to make connections and get some, collaboration going.
Absolutely. That's the whole collaborative genealogy is the big thing in the future.
Yeah.
I help you.
Exactly. Well, now we've talked about the professional work that you do and certainly the work that you do with the APG. But I'm always interested in talking with somebody who has been doing genealogy for a long time. On a personal level, what do you find? What keeps you motivated? And on a personal level, what has it meant to you to research your own ancestors?
Well, one thing that has always been a wonderful thing to me is genealogy has always been a challenge and it may be to some people, but maybe not to the greater degree as it is to me, because I'm always pursuing another line, another facet of my genealogy. I'm a member of the Sons of the American Revolution. I'm the local registrar. These things just keep me motivated, trying to do more genealogy for more people and my own personal genealogy. I just recently got back from a trip to Jamestown, Virginia, where I attended the Chandler Family Association. One of my ancestors is John Chandler. And these are things I'm just motivated all the time to keep going and looking for more. And every time I get another job from another client, I can't put it down until I've got some headway made in it. I sometimes find myself working half a night.
Oh, I know the feeling.
You know the feeling, huh? I just cannot lay it aside until I know I have at least picked up a few bits and pieces where I could find out it will be worthwhile to continue pursuing this. And then I put it aside and let some U.S. mail take effect.
Exactly. What prompted your original interest in your own personal genealogy?
It was quite kind of a challenge. My mother-in-law of that day was bragging about how great her ancestors were, and I just couldn't be still when she started telling me that. I headed to our local historical library, and I felt ashamed of myself because when I got back to her, I said, it was a lot more than you knew, and it made me almost ashamed to find out that she didn't know the half of it. Her ancestors were very prominent Georgia legislators and officials of the state of Georgia, and she didn't even know that. She just knew that they were prominent people in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of was a jumping off point for me. I began to search my own personal genealogy, and of course not quite as famous as hers were, but I've been very pleased with what I've found. I've found a lot about my family in North Alabama. When I go up there, I have to meet with my family and talk to them about what's going on and doing the printout of my family tree charts, and they're all excited about it. We have an annual Davidson family reunion in August of every year, and it's grown from a handful to almost 200 people. And I hope I have a reason for that being that they can find their interest in genealogy through my research.
You almost feel like you're restoring these people back to the family. You know, we hear the stories and we have that vague recollection or things we've heard, but you know, when we go back and really pull those names out and who these people were, it's nice to know that they're remembered, and hopefully we'll all be remembered too, right?
I hope so. I hope that I will leave enough, I guess I could use the term paper trail, that someone may be able to pick it up someday and say, this is what he did. Let's see if I can improve on it a little bit. It wouldn't hurt my feelings at all.
Exactly. Oh, Alvie, it's been really a joy to chat with you today, and I appreciate you sharing your professional as well as personal insight with all of us here on the show.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I enjoy your podcast. I have an iPhone that hangs on my hip, and I put a Bluetooth headset on when I go to the gym, and I listen to your program 2 or 3 times before I digest it all, just working out in the gym in the morning.
Excellent. Now, if I could just find a way to get the benefits of the workout, even though I'm the one doing the talking, that would be good.
Maybe osmosis.
Yeah. Oh, thanks again.
Well, thank you. And if I can help you in any way, just give me a shout. And I hope to try to get you down here in Florida in the next couple of years.
Would love to do it. And everybody listening, keep an eye out. Next time you head out to one of the national conferences, head over to the APG booth. You'll probably find Alvie there. Say hi.
You got it.
Boy, it was great to talk to somebody who's very knowledgeable about that process. I hope that this interview has gotten you started and started to answer some of those questions that you're having about the whole concept of becoming a certified genealogist and what's involved. And it's wonderful to know that you can become a member of the Association of Professional Genealogists without being certified yet. What better way to tap into the brain trust of the folks who have already been through the process? So I encourage you to get involved with APG. It's really a wonderful organization. And I wanted to let you know also that when I was recently at the Family History Expo in Pleasanton, California, I picked up an interesting little flyer that I wanted to tell you about. It's here from the Salt Lake Community College, and they have a genealogy certificate program. It says here, as you discover your ancestry, you will learn the proper use of genealogical records and sources through hands-on research. Don't live in Salt Lake? Not a problem. All of our courses are available online. Visit our website for a listing of courses as well as in-person workshops. So if you would like to check out an online option for a genealogy certificate, head on over to slcc.edu/continuing ed. And there's a phone number here. It's 801-957-5200. And when you get to the continuing ed, you'll just click on genealogy. You can contact Kathy Johnson, that's JONSSON, by email at kathy.johnson@slcc.edu. And I encourage you to do that. If you've got some questions, check them out and see what they have to offer. And we'll be updating this topic certainly in the future. There's lots to cover. And I know that Suzanne had more questions about it and what to do about hiring a professional genealogist. So lots of great topics for upcoming podcast episodes. Stay tuned. Thanks so much for joining me for the Genealogy Gems podcast episode number 101. You wouldn't believe how much stuff I had that I wanted to cover today. And it just seems like it's flown by. It's gone very long, but lots of great things going on in the world of genealogy. And don't worry, I've hung on to the ones we didn't get to in this episode, and we'll be covering those in all the episodes to come. I am really looking forward to 2011, and I have something in the works that some of you have been asking for. Dare I say it? Well, put it this way. If you have an Android phone, this might make you happy. That's all I'm going to say, because I can't tell you for sure until it's all done. But there's news a-coming, so stay tuned for that. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, you can reach me at genealogygemspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening, friend. I'll talk to you soon.